They even give you 250 kilowatts of charging on the rear-wheel drive version. Good afternoon, everybody. Today it is a rainy Thursday down here at Paradise Valley. But last night, or yesterday, I guess, there was this major news that Tesla has released the new refreshed Model Y rear-wheel drive, which, as many of you may know, is the single motor, more longer range, cheaper version of the new Model Y. Personally, I wish I would have waited because, as you know, I spent $250 trying to get a launch edition Model Y. I then was approved. They wanted 14 grand down. I counter offered with 10 grand down, at which point they declined. And so I just ended up losing $250 because I had a tax bill coming and I was not spending $14,000 on this car. Now, unfortunately, another 2 to 3 months have passed. I don't really have that extra money laying around to buy the rear-wheel drive version, considering that I just paid a $5,000 tax bill. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, but I wanted to go over some of the features of the rear-wheel drive refresh Model Y compared to the long range or the launch edition. A lot of people may be confused about it, so I figured as I'm trying to get back into daily uploads, let's make a great video for today. So click like, click subscribe, indulge in your life at indulgeclothing.com for the merch, and let's check out the Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive refresh. So when you go to Tesla's website, you are of course greeted with a beautiful photo of a Model 3 or Model Y first. And if you go here to order, you can see you now have two options, a lot better options than I had before when there was just launch edition. So let me take this out. So that's the actual price of the car, $44,990. And of course you can get the long range all-wheel drive version for $4 grand more. Has a top speed of 125 miles per hour. 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds and a 357 mile range. So to put into perspective, the price is exactly the same as the old Model Y. The old range was 337 miles, so you get 20 more miles of range on the new refreshed rear-wheel drive Model Y. And the 0 to 60 went from 6.5 to 5.4. So now, for the most part, the rest of this will remain unchanged. You know, you got your colors here. We still don't have the cool blue. We still have the deep metallic. We do have the diamond black, which I think is pretty dope, or the stealth gray, which is included, the only included color. You do get 344 miles of range if you opt for the bigger tires. I would not recommend it. That's just me. The interior is, of course, $1,000 extra for the wide interior and $8 grand for full self-driving. And of course, after the tax credit, you get this car for basically $38,500. But if we go down here, there is one thing that I noticed that I think is very important, is when you look at the specs. If you look at the all-wheel drive version versus the long-range rear-wheel drive version, you'll see on this window, other than the dual motor and the range, nothing changes. Well, the curb weight changes a little bit too, but that's it. Now, what's really awesome is if you compare them side by side here, and you really see you get the same cubic feet, the same everything. They even give you 250 kilowatts of charging on the rear-wheel drive version. So just phenomenal. And at the end of the day, everything you see here above it is absolutely included with the rear-wheel drive version. So the only real difference in the rear-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive versions is, of course, the price. The price is $4,000 cheaper if you're getting the rear-wheel drive version versus the all-wheel drive. But outside of that, and outside of one less motor and more range than you'd get with the all-wheel drive, that's the only difference. So like for the Cybertruck, which will probably be tomorrow's video, they cut a lot of stuff on the rear-wheel drive Cybertruck. On this Model Y, they cut nothing. What's interesting is even on the Model 3, they cut the speakers down to make it cheaper. The rear-wheel drive Model Y has the exact same sound system as the all-wheel drive Model Y and as the launch edition. Essentially, if you were originally looking at a launch edition and now you're looking at a rear-wheel drive Model Y because it's cheaper, the only difference is you're not going to have those few badges that say launch edition, and you won't have acceleration boost. You'll have more range than you would have with the launch edition, and that's about it. I mean, you're missing out on some stickers. So at this point, I personally think that the refresh Model Y is really the best deal in almost any electric vehicle that's out right now, just because of what you're getting. 350 plus miles of range is a ton of range, supercharging access. You've still got your rear screen, you've still got all your speakers, you've still got all the awesome features that came with the refreshed Model Y, just at a $44,000 price tag instead of a $49,000 price tag. So 2 thumbs up to Tesla. If I didn't just have a massive tax bill, I would probably be ordering one of these and seeing if I could get one, because I was approved for a different one before that was in the same price range. So I'm pretty certain they would approve me for this one. So, but that's going to be today's little video going over the new refreshed rear wheel drive Tesla Model Y. I, of course, have a link down below to my referral account from Tesla, which can save you $1,000 when you just click my link to order your Tesla. That'll do it for today. Click like, click subscribe. Indulge in your life at indulgeclothing.com for the merch. See you in the next one. Deuces.